All right, now we got Jeet 10. And he's rated higher than me. But if I win, then I can get back to 2100, which would be nice. Looks like we're entering, will it be, oh, it's a Grunfeld. I was about to say we're entering King's Indian lands, but it turns out to be a Grunfeld, which I know less about. But I still, you know, I have some knowledge. Some very basic knowledge. Like, he attacked my pawn, so I defended it. And see, he attacked it again, I defended it again. Pretty good chess understanding. Put my king in the corner. Okay, knight a5. I believe I'm supposed to play bishop d3 and not let him take my bishop and claim that his knight is misplaced on a5. That all seems correct. And he hastily plays c4. So this gives away any sort of pressure on the center. So now my center is sort of, you know, nice and there. It's hard to consider any other move but bishop c2. I don't know why I would play bishop b1. So I guess I'll play bishop c2. So black no longer has pressure on the center really, but he does have a 3 versus 2 sort of structure on the queen side. So in an endgame, he'll probably be trying to win over here. It looks like the bishop's coming to b7 to put pressure on e4. Normally you don't like the rook here because this bishop can do stuff to you, but since there's no pressure on the center, it doesn't seem like this pawn's going anywhere anytime soon. So I'm not in any hurry to move the rook, I don't think. Queen d2 feels pretty normal. Maybe try to trade off dark square bishops. Yeah, I mean, I guess that would be desirable. f4 certainly feels like a plan. I think maybe I want to wait for black to commit this bishop, because if I play f4, then after bishop g4, I can't play f3. Which was the whole point of playing knight e2. So anyway, all of that said, I don't think there's any reason to do anything other than queen d2. Okay. Well, pushing is definitely pretty tempting. The pawn structure looks a little funky, like this c3 pawn is not isolated, but it's sort of like functionally isolated. On the other hand, I get a passed pawn, and this knight has nowhere. I mean, you know, he'll have to work to get back in the game. He can't go back to c6, but maybe that was never his intention. If I let him take, and I take with the pawn, then suddenly black has sort of a scary, you know, passed pawn, 3-1 majority over there. So, if I'm not pushing and he takes, I'm probably having to take with a piece. So the c3 pawn's going to be functionally isolated no matter what I do. I mean, I could take the pawn, but I think pushing makes the most sense, just to keep this bishop sort of bottled up. And like I said, I do get a passed pawn out of the deal. So, okay, he's unfazed. f3 seems like a pretty typical response here. And I'll have a beautiful pawn chain. I could throw in bishop g5 if I didn't want f4 to happen. After bishop g5, I imagine he'll move his queen somewhere. And then if f4 is played, my bishop is sort of cut off. So I'm not actually sure that I want my bishop out there. So I'm coming back to f3. Yeah, I think f3 makes the most sense. A lot of times f3 is weakening, and I may live to regret playing f3, but my theory is that when the bishop's already on this diagonal, f3 is usually not that big of a deal. You already got this diagonal blocked, and the bishop can sort of chill on f2, so there's less likely to be any sort of, you know, lateral pressure later, which is sometimes the downside of f3. Okay, so this is feeling kind of King's Indian-ish, which is interesting. An idea which could have existed last turn, but that I didn't really notice, was d6, which threatens queen d5 check, winning his rook. Well, he probably would play bishop e6 and give away a bishop instead, but winning material nonetheless. But I assume he won't let that happen. He'll play bishop e6 first. Yeah. Okay, how am I getting my pieces to squares? Like, g4 seems to be coming. Maybe I just play like king h1 and say, hey, you want to take on f3? I'll put my rook on g1 and I'll do stuff down the g file. Also, my knight on e2 doesn't really have any obvious path into the game, so maybe freeing up g1 for the knight as a pivot square there. I don't know if I'm a big believer in that. h3 doesn't seem to solve much. Like, h3, he'll just play h5 and he's ready again to play g4. Yeah, I think I don't want to, because my king might want to hide on the h file, so I don't really think I want to do that. I want to keep my h pawn at home. So maybe king h1, g4, and then knight g1. Try to bring the knight to f3 ultimately. Or takes first and then knight g1 might be better. I mean, what other move can I really consider here? d6, I think bishop e6 is just too easy. And then I'm having to defend the d6 pawn forever with pieces. So okay, I think king h1 is good. Now, if he's not playing g4 here, then okay, well, so much for that. So I think take, because if I play knight g1 first, I'm giving him the option of playing g3, which could be, you know, something. I mean, maybe it's not anything. Well, but he could play h5, and I don't want h5 to happen, I don't think. So let's okay, wait. Take knight g1. Is f3 viable? I don't think. It could happen. I could have bishop d1 to sort of defend. I mean, yeah, I don't think I want h5 to happen. That's what I'm most scared, because where am I getting play if he can keep this pawn on g4? Like, what? I mean, there's like no route for my knight to come into the game unless I'm going through f3. Okay, so I think I'm gonna do this, and he might play f3 after knight g1 here, but that will result in him giving up the bishop pair, and maybe I can even attack down the g file. So I think it's fine. Okay. I still do not hate knight f3. If he takes, the g file looks like it's gonna be powerful for me. I can revisit this d6 idea at some point now that this bishop has already made a move. So knight f3, if he's not taking, I might be able to even weasel my way in here. Knight f3 feels like it should be the move. I guess d6, I mean, it's not as big of a threat anymore since the rook's defended. Yeah, so I was thinking knight h4 here. And just try to get the knight to the absolute best square. I could also just defend the knight. Not sure how, though. Like, I could move the bishop, but there's not really a good square. I mean, I could play bishop h4. No, because then he's taking this and just removing the defender. So yeah, I think we just do this maneuver. I guess will he play f3? Is that the plan? I mean, maybe I just play bishop d1. Like, this bishop kind of sucks anyway. So if I can get it traded, all the better. Bishop d1, like queen g6 going after the new weakness. Ooh, I think I see something spicy there. So yeah, I'm thinking bishop d1. And then, if allowed, then I'll do this. I think. Trade off this guy. I'd love to trade light squared bishops. Okay. We are running a little short on time. My opponent's been playing like instantly every move. He has a minute and a half more than he started with. This happens a lot during my stream, but less often in these YouTube videos. I think my position's really good, though. If I can navigate, you know, the next 5 moves or so, I think my position will be just better. Like, I have this passed pawn. This knight is preposterous. Yeah, he's gearing up to come over here. Well, I mean, knight h4 was the idea, which will force a trade. And I can always, I was noticing I could play bishop g1 if there's ever pressure on h2. So yeah, I think let's just get in there. Also, once this bishop is gone, this knight should be able to sit on f5. It will be a very pretty knight there. And the bishop will be gone. He can't avoid it because of this pin. For some reason, these kind of pins used to always elude me. Like, a bishop pinning a bishop just feels like it shouldn't be able to, like, you know, it just seems like the bishops should be able to counteract, but, you know, you still see these pins sometimes. Rook pinning a rook. Queen pinning a rook. Stuff like that. So I'm sort of presuming maybe he'll play rook h6. I think I'll just take the bishop. And then either knight f5 or bishop g1. This knight's going to be... I mean, I think the knight's just going to be so immense on f5. I can probably pre-move rook takes bishop. I want to make sure that's true before I start doing it. Yeah, it seems pretty true. So let's pre-move that. He could do that to keep the tempo a little bit. So like bishop takes, rook h6. I think I just play bishop g1 there. Oh wait, but my knight's hanging, so I can't. Okay, I guess I don't play bishop g1. I guess I do other stuff. I guess that's the most testing line to think about, though. Oh, he did that right away? He's trying to get here, I guess? I have to be aware of an exchange sack here. Okay, let's go ahead and take. I see no reason not to. G3 is sort of interesting. Okay, he wants some junk here. Probably should have realized that. Well, knight f5 does a nice job preventing that. Knight f5, take. I mean, I think I'll take that risk. Yeah. Somehow I don't want to. I mean, like, queen d1 also makes a lot of sense. And just ask the queen to go somewhere else. And get out of all this business. I guess I could also try to come in this way, which is kind of funny. Yeah, I mean, a queen trade would be great. He won't allow a queen trade. He definitely won't allow it. So he'll play like queen g5, but then the queen's blocking the bishop. He could play queen d7 if he is worried about my queen coming in, you know, via a4. But then, you know, he's not really getting any kind of attack. I expect queen g5. Oh, wow, he took. Okay, I think I just have no troubles now. My knight on f5 is going to be too good. Yeah, he's wanting to blockade here. And he will probably be successful. Bishop h4 makes a lot of sense. He might also put some piece here. Okay, let's get a little tempo. We're close to a fork. Actually, maybe I should just take the bishop pair. Or, well, not the bishop pair, but... No, this knight's so good. But, I mean, I don't like him. I don't want him to be able to blockade here. So maybe I do this. That forces this trade. And then I can play d6. That seems pretty good. I guess he's still going to put the knight here, which is sort of annoying. Maybe just get the rooks ready to go somewhere. Like, do a little rook lift. I don't know. I guess I'll do this because I think this knight's going to get traded off anyway. Bishop has better long-term prospects, hopefully. Okay. I guess first things first, let's defend that. Okay. I don't want to part with my bishop. Maybe do this kind of maneuver. Because I'm not sure that rook's going to really get much done if I go like rook f3, rook h3, which was my first thought. Maybe I play g3? Yeah, g3 actually looks pretty good. Because that's the problem I'm having, is it's I can't find, there's no file for my rooks. But g3 might start changing that. And if I capture and I make this pawn recaptured, then, you know, I can really start rolling in the center. This makes perfect sense. That's where black has an advantage. So I like this g3 idea. So we'll do that. If a5 is played, maybe I take a break and play a3. If rook h6, I have bishop g5, which I actually hadn't thought about rook h6, but and I'm only down 10 minutes on the clock, so I should be in perfect shape. Okay. Luckily, I was prepared. So luckily, if he plays either of these moves, when I capture the pawn, I'm defending the bishop. That's the important detail. I think I'm just gonna break through in the center. This pawn is looking like a goner. So now this is hanging, but this is hanging. Maybe I play e5. If I take, I guess he'll take with the knight. I could play d6. Yeah, I guess I like that better. Oh, there's also rook g1. I don't think that actually has any big threats, though. Let's just take. Oh, is he threatening rook f or knight f2? Knight f2, king g2, I guess. Okay. I think we just do this. No, because he's going to take the rook. That was stupid. I was only thinking about this for some reason. I might not be lost. Because I'll get the knight back. Here, here. But this pawn's going to be lost. Which is going to be trouble. Yeah, I mean, it's just here, here, and then here. That's all there is. That's the whole thing. Yeah, and there's no way this is holding on. There's no way. Effectively a random move. Yeah, there's just nothing. There's just no hope. Yeah, and he gets that pawn. Okay, fine. I resign. It's a frustrating one because I outplayed him the whole game and I just made one silly mistake in time trouble, which has happened about 5,000 times in my life. But I don't even like he played instantly every move. I don't think my time management was that poor. He just played quick. He played really quick. I mean, at some point in the game, I had like a minute, and he had, I mean, at some point he had 16 minutes, and I had like 3 or 4. Oh well. Okay, so mistakes were made. Um, a lot of this opening, I sort of know. Like a lot of these moves are extremely common. This is like very standard Grunfeld, position. So this move, I've faced it before, but I didn't like specifically remember what to do. I feel like it's not a good move because I mean this knight just sat over there like forever and didn't really contribute much. Bishop d3 was the only move that I thought made a lot of sense. It looks like the masters are agreeing with me. How come the scene's all messed up for you guys? I don't know why it is weird. It shouldn't be weird. Okay, I don't know. Too bad. Anyway, so yeah. And then yeah, I thought this was a weird move. I was correct about that. Computer's giving plus 1.7 already for white. Queen d2 is what the masters play, and there's only 2 games in the database at this point, but yeah. Wow, and these guys, they played f4 right here, and it was a draw. Let's bring in the computer. Computer likes f4. It also likes rook a d1. d5 it says is fine, but it's not its first choice. f4 wasn't on my radar at all. So the line it's giving is f4, e takes d4, knight takes d4. I admit this knight looks pretty nice. Like, I definitely prefer white. I wouldn't have thought that it's like +2, which is what the computer says. That's why the computer is better than me. And then it says f5 is a mistake, and then I made it. So I'm going to click the learn from my mistakes button. Try to figure out what I should. So, shockingly, it says f3 is a bad move. After I extolled the virtue of f3 when the bishop's already on the diagonal. f3 felt like so natural to me. I mean, could it be d6? Like, there's a move that's +3 here. It's hard for me to fathom what it could be if not. But d6, I don't get why that should be that big of a deal. Like, d6, I'm threatening queen d5, but he'll just stop it. Bishop b7, bishop e6. And I like my pawn on d5. I mean, it's defended. It's keeping his knight from going to c6. It's keeping the bishop from being good on b7. It could be bishop g5 first, which I did think about. But I thought that bishop would get a little cut off. Maybe it's bishop g5 and then f4. That would be pretty spicy. I mean, and also maybe there's some combination of ideas here. Like d6, and then he'll have to play bishop b7 or bishop e6. I think those are like the only moves. I guess you could play bishop d7. It just looks kind of weird. So d6, bishop somewhere, and then bishop g5. And then black will save their queen, but then there's bishop e7. And I'm in there, Maybe that is the way to do it. If I play bishop g5 first, I mean, maybe that. Well, I mean, maybe that observation just means that After bishop g5, black sort of has to play bishop f6. So maybe I play bishop g5 first. And if the queen is moved, anywhere the queen moves, I believe I am still playing d6 with this threat. And then he'll escape the threat, and then there's bishop e7. So I think bishop g5, maybe black has to play bishop f6. And then I could consider f4, I could consider taking. And then f4, I'm guessing it's going to be this. Okay, that is not the best move, it looks like, but it says it is a good move. So it's giving 1.3. Oh, queen d6. I didn't think about queen. Yeah, why can't I find that? Queen d6, that stops d6. So maybe it was... Oh, it is f4. Wow. Somehow that kind of move is just like tough for me because it feels like just throwing everything at black, but when I don't see like a concrete reason that is working, then I'm often reluctant to do it. But I mean, I guess I don't have to see a concrete reason. The reason is white's pieces are better developed. Like, these pieces are not really helping much. And it's not like white's pieces are stellar, but if the position opens up and it gets sharp, it's likely that white will be the one that benefits. I think maybe that's the insight that would help me find f4. Okay, let's continue. And we'll bring back the learn from your mistakes feature soon. So f3 was a blunder, so Ben Feingold's happy. It actually says black has a relatively large advantage here. -1. That was not my instinct at all. I mean, admittedly, when he started pushing on the king side, I was like, well, I don't really have don't really have a great plan here. Like, it's hard for me to do, like, it's so closed that it's hard for me to do stuff. And he kind of just got to push on the king side for free. But it looks like I still played well this phase of the game. Like, king h1, it says, is the best move. It doesn't like g4 from him. Okay, it doesn't mind take. It wants to play knight g1 first. So if knight g1 first, I was afraid of h5. And then g3. Okay, so it's funny how, again, it's like this, I don't know what you call that pawn structure, but I mean, basically, whenever you see that pawn structure, like, probably everything's getting traded. Like, probably all those pawns are just going to be gone. Okay. Like, rook ae1, I don't really get. I mean, g3 helps me break out. I can appreciate that. It's sort of a hard move to think about when the guy's pushing all his pawns at you. Like, normally you're taught to keep your pawns back so that he doesn't have a hook to open things up. But okay, so taking isn't bad. Rook ae1 again. Okay, knight g1 is okay, now it's just giving zeros, but knight g1 and rook ae1 are both good, it says. Okay, I played knight f3 here. It's wanting bishop d1 already. That makes a pretty good amount of sense. I didn't find that idea yet, that I would love a light square bishop trade. But I found it now, and it's good. Okay, he played rook f6, which it doesn't like. Oh, I have a trick. I didn't see that trick. Do I understand that trick? Knight takes e5, bishop takes d1. Then what? Like, I don't know. I get that he can't take with the queen. If he takes with the queen, then the bishop's loose. The queen's overworked. I didn't notice that. So knight takes, queen takes, bishop takes. I'm with you there. What I'm not getting is if he plays bishop takes d1. Because then if I recapture, he can just take my knight, I assume. Unless, like, I mean, unless bishop d4 is just, like, too strong. But, like, really? I mean, like, maybe the justification, maybe, is I take a pawn, he takes a bishop. I take a bishop, he takes a knight. Then I have bishop d4. Man, maybe that's just good. Because I could always just go for 2 pieces for a rook. But I also have these pawns in the center. Maybe that's the point. Bishop takes, rook takes. Yeah. Wow, that's really hard to find. Yeah. And I'm gonna get this, and then I'm just gonna push these pawns. That's crazy. It even just pushes right away. What? So even if you find all that, even if you get to this position in your head, e5 is the only winning move here. So why is e5 that good? It's giving away its pawn and then it's playing d6. I understand d6. I guess we wanted the queen here so that we can do some stuff. Some, like, promotion tactic. Okay, and it says knight b7 is the only move that fights. And then it does this. Okay, it seems like the computer's throwing in the towel. Like, if you let me do this, I'm obviously winning, right? Oh, but it's gonna play like bishop f8. Oh, it's too complicated. So rook e8 doesn't even win. By the way, this is still like the only line to justify knight takes e5 forever ago. It says queen e2 is the only winning move. Okay, queen e2. This pawn's defended tactically. If he takes it, then check, and the rook is going to be lost. And then take on c4 or play g4. Okay, I mean, I guess at some point I have to stop, you know, but like obviously it's nuts to see. I mean, this is move 31. It's nuts to see that all that line justifies on move 22 knight takes e5. I mean, again, it's maybe one of those things where you don't actually have to know all of the tactics, but like a strong player would probably see this position in their head and just judge that white has enough compensation for being down 2 pieces for a rook. Because, I mean, these center pawns are good. Okay, but that's crazy. I'm not mad at missing any of that. So, what actually happens? Knight h4, which is fine. Knight h4 is the 3rd best move. It slightly prefers bishop h4. I guess I just thought, like, that's sort of helping him do what he wants to do. But it's not going there. So what happens after this? Bishop g5. True. Well, okay. Well, I mean, we still had good things happen here. Okay, and then I'm gonna, yeah, let's see what learn from my mistakes. Okay, we already did that one. Okay, so here's what happened. So after knight h4, he played bishop h6, which is a blunder. And it says I should play d6, which I saw was legal. And then it says that queen d1 was a mistake. Okay, yeah. So this is where I played queen d1, and it says that's a mistake. So I assume the better move is still d6. I just was worried that you know, I mean, once that pawn moves forward, it's not going to be defended by a pawn again, so got to be certain. So d6, let's say like rook d8. I don't know if it's d7. It could be knight f5. Knight f5 lends some more support. I mean, it's got to be d6 just based off the previous position. Yeah, it just says this pawn's going to be too strong. I don't know how to make that judgment other than just pure calculation. So this was the sort of thing I wasn't sure about. It does just say knight f5. Oh man, f3. F3 is such a annoying move. Because f3 threatens the queen and threatens mate. I guess we have bishop e3 and that defends everything. But then bishop takes. And then knight takes? Am I on the right track here? Oh, queen d5 check. And then rook g1. This is too hard. I mean, again, I'm not really debating that white is looking good, but these are hard moves to find. Okay. Continuing. I thought I would just have an obvious, much better endgame. I thought he would avoid it and play queen g5. It says if he avoids this trade, he's just completely lost. But that might be back because of this, like it might be because of d6 at some point. Like it says the next best move is rook g6. I would definitely take it. This is what I thought would happen. Yeah, again it says d6, but I was probably gonna play knight f5 or I don't know, bishop g1. But knight f5 it says is good enough. Still super winning. But it might be that I have to play d6 in all of those lines in order for it to be super winning. Okay, so now I'm less winning. It says that was a bad move. It likes knight f3 better. Man, I guess I got too entranced by how good the knight was going to be on f5. But it's actually it's not easy to defend e5 is the point. Actually, I think you just can't defend it. Because if you play rook e8, I take it. Rook takes, and then bishop here, and you can't move your rook anywhere that defends this rook because of these pawns. So I think the computer's just gonna like, no, okay, it is gonna do this, but I can take it, yeah. And then it doesn't take here. So this is kind of funny. Because, I mean, normally the rook would just go somewhere to defend the other rook, but... and it is still doing that, but in either case, you're dropping a whole rook. So white ends up had an exchange. Yeah, so these center pawns were, I guess, an underappreciated asset in the position. Because a lot of these tactics that happened or that could have happened, were justified by these center pawns. So yeah. Now my position's still good, It wants g3. I don't think I was really thinking about g3 yet. G3 makes, I like G3 a lot. I wish I had seen it before because obviously I like my knight a lot. I was talking a lot about the knight on f5. So giving it up and then doing G3 later was sort of unfortunate. It even wants to just take this. Which again, I might would have done if I had seen G3. Maybe. But yeah, that is the line it's giving, is takes, and G3. Yeah, you can't really save the pawn. But yeah, now this pawn's going to be a lot easier to attack. Fair enough. Okay. So now we're getting into the like still here. I have 1 minute. He has 13. So it's moved 30. I guess, I mean, for me to be down to 1 minute, I'll move 30 in a 15-minute game. It's a little too slow. But it's partly because he was moving like instantly every move. So I don't know. I don't know if the time management was problematic here or not. I would say probably not. I mean, I still had chances later in the game. I just blundered horribly. Okay. So it doesn't like this. Yeah, okay. We kind of already covered that. It wants to take the knight. It says black's better after rook g4. Yeah, rook g4. Do I still play g3? And then it says fg. I would probably take with the bishop. It doesn't like either way. Oh, we're just dropping this. Okay, I see. So rook g4 is like sort of a fork. And if you just move the bishop, there's not really a good square. Like, this is annoying. I mean, I guess this is what I would do. If I saw that e4 was dropping, I'd probably play bishop f2. And yeah, then I would spend the rest of the game being afraid of this. So okay, so black's better. It's equal again. It wants f3 first, or I'm sorry, rook f3 first, then g3. And I thought I had it all figured out with bishop g5, but it actually wants rook g1 here. By the way, I mean, I thought I was just like doing really well the whole time, and it says it's like equal. Okay, it's all equal. D6 was right, and then he blundered. We're gonna learn. Well, okay, we're gonna do, yeah. So D6. He should get behind the pawn. Makes sense. This is a blunder, and I mean, it was good that I saw the idea of knight f2, and I'd figured out that king g2 would be best. I can't take because then this rook's hanging. But king g2, he has to deal with his pawn. He has to deal with the fact that his knight's hanging. So then he took, and I blundered. So let's learn from my mistakes. It always goes back to the beginning. Okay, so yeah, this is what had happened. So king g2, he took, and I just took back sort of automatically. I should play rook takes knight. I think. Yeah, I sort of played instinctively here, but I think the idea is to take and then get the rook here. So after rook takes knight, what I don't know is what I do after this. It's got to be rook takes knight, though. Okay, so rook takes, rook here. I guess I just like move on with my life. Maybe like bishop g3. Set up some discovery. I don't know, but it's got to be rook takes knight. Oh, I'm wrong. Good. So it's king takes knight? What? Unless I guess it's just d7. I didn't even think about d7 here. Is it d7? d7, rook d5? I still don't get it. It's not rook takes rook, and it's not rook takes knight. I don't see why king takes knight would be different. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Now I just feel like it has to be d7. I just don't see why rook d5 doesn't work. What is going on? Oh. I just end up ahead of piece. That's a really cool tactic. That's really cool. I think if you give this as a puzzle, like if you just show people this position and say it's a puzzle, then they're gonna know it's not rook takes rook. So I think they'll be more likely to look for d7. But d7 is really cool. So the idea of d7 is I'm threatening to promote. So I'm forcing you to respond. Because, I mean, I promote with check. Like, if you take this rook, I promote with check, and then I take your rook. So you have to play rook d5. And then when I play rook takes rook, I'm threatening this and promotion. So you don't have time to save your knight. Your knight's also hanging. So you have to play this now. There's no other way to stop. Okay, it's pointing out knight d3. And then, you know, check, promote, take, and he'll get this. So I would just end up in exchange. But yeah, basically you have to take here and just let me take your knight. I mean, the computer's giving that line, but actually I think from a human point of view, maybe this is a little more testing. Check. Here. Promote. Yeah, and then either order. Since this is check, but for example, here, here, here. This seems like this would be harder for a human than the other line. Because, I mean, black does have at least a pawn for the exchange, but it's not going to be enough. I mean, for one, in this position, the knight has to be saved, and then white's going to start winning some pawns. So, wow, that's really cool, though. So, lesson here is, you know, don't always make automatic moves. When you see a good move, look for a better one, right? That's a pretty cool tactic. D7. Darn. Okay. Yeah, and then now it's not even winning. And then yeah, I mean this blunder was sort of a product of I mean, I don't want to say it's a product of time pressure and make it sound like that's an excuse. It's not an excuse. That is, you know, the main like if I had used my time more wisely previously, then I would have time to realize that this is a blunder. I kind of just like forgot in my analysis that my rook's also hanging. I was analyzing like this and I thought I'm winning, which I think is true. But yeah, he has time to stop me. So, and then I played on a few moves because you know, but there was just nothing to do. So, okay, so what are the takeaways from the game? Let's revisit and try to figure out what to learn from. Okay, so here, I didn't even identify f4 as a candidate move. I think because I'm a little uncomfortable with sort of sharper open positions. But when I have a big lead in piece activity, and you know, like I do, then I should not fear that. I think that's one takeaway. Most of the game was pretty good. Like honestly, I played better for most of the game. Okay, I'm not really going to be upset about missing knight takes e5 because that is sort of a crazy long tactical sequence that has to be found. Yeah, I mean d6 again. I'm not sure I'm really gonna call that a big miss. It's hard to know all that. Yeah, and then here I got a little. I just tunneled a little too much on the knight on f5. I wasn't really thinking much about my opponent's weaknesses. Like I was kind of just thinking about I'm gonna make my pieces good. I'm gonna have this pawn. I'm gonna bring a rook over to the h file somehow. I never really thought about, hey, that pawn's pretty weak. Maybe I should attack it. Okay, and then some other stuff happened. I didn't find this g3 idea. I guess there I didn't identify, you know, I didn't identify this weakness, but I also didn't identify this strength. Like that pawn is just really keeping me sort of bottled up. So trying to get rid of it. Like I need to bust up this structure so that my pawn can move forward and so that my rooks can do stuff. Okay. Yeah. And then this was just sort of insane. D7, like, yeah. I guess just when you see a good move, look for a better one. I guess that's all it is. And also try to not get down to 20 seconds on the clock because that might not go well for you. Okay, hope you guys like this video. See you in the next one. Oh yeah, subscribe. Don't forget to do that. All right, bye.